Hello tennis guys and welcome to my channel. So it is a Roland Garros time and that's why I'm dressed in this beautiful red club t-shirt. It is a club I'm playing for. There is the logo, and by the way I've created the logo for the club. It's my creation and it looks really nice. So Roland Garros, clay, Grand Slam, the toughest one. It's without a doubt the toughest Grand Slam in the year of all the 4 Grand Slams, because if you ever played on clay, guys abroad who are practicing playing only on hard courts, if you come on to clay, you will suffer like hell, like never before. It's furious. And you know, when we play Grand Slam, best of 5, it is insanely tough. So there might be situations unexpected. There might be injuries, like with Zverev. There might be shocking upsets. There might be, things that will never happen on hard court. And this is the year, this is the time of the season where players who grew up on hard court really need to switch their mind, their physical abilities to another dimension of tennis. Ball bounces every time differently. Clay can be fast, can be super slow, can be hot, can be muddy. It can change day after day. The surface is not the same during the tournament. It depends on when you play, what time you play, what is the weather, what are the conditions, whether there is a windy condition there, and so on. The sand or the clay gets drier during the match, and so on and so on. So it changes constantly and you need to adjust to these. But let's stop with the bubbling and let's dive into my Roland Garros men and women prediction of 2023. So stay tuned for more.
John McEnroe.
So before I get into the draws, which were finally released, let me tell you something about what happened during the Roland Garros 2022. So the champions. So the man champion for 2022 was obviously Rafa Nadal. It was, I would say, a quite shocking victory during the final. It was a demolition. It was like a teacher and his pupil, or teacher and his how is it called? Yeah, pupil, I believe. And the root suffered like never before. The victory was obvious, 6-3, 6-3, 6-0. And by the way, look at that. There is a mistake in the root's name in this. On the website, on the official Roland Garros website. How can this happen? Rud. Rad. Okay? Hey guys, at Roland Garros, correct this. It is really it's not good if you see this on the official website. So Rafa Nadal demolished Ruud in the final. He schooled him, and the similar thing happened also for the women's part. Where is it? The women's part, Iga Swiatek demolished Coco Gauff 6-1, 6-3. So it was a quite easy win for both of them in the final. I think people were really little bit unhappy about the final who watched it on the stadium, because when you pay for the final, for the Grand Slam, for the Roland Garros, you want to see the best of the best matches, but this looked like a first round match for both of these champions. So easy win, and I believe this will not happen this year because obviously Rafa is not there. And let's jump straight into the draws, into the men's part, but wait also for the women's part because it is super interesting from the Czech point of view. So we have there obviously these favorites, and I just point out the names I'm believing in, and it will be easy, it will be fast. I don't want to make some a deep analysis because it doesn't really make any sense. Anything can happen. So this is just based on my feeling. So Alcaraz obviously huge favorite, but I don't think he will win. Just it's my feeling. Then next we have Tsitsipas. Tsitsipas, I believe he has a really great chance because he's getting better and better every single time I see him on the court, also on clay. He becomes more and more, he's becoming more and more mature, more, let's say, focused on the performance rather on the, let's say, behind the scenes of his, let's say, tennis journey, and also with his parents he's getting a little bit better on the court. He's managing the stress that is, I believe, coming from his parents a little bit better. So he looks really nice. And against Tsitsi there will be our Czech Jiří Veselý. You know, this guy, he's coming back from injury. He thinks he's prepared. And the reason why he's in the main draw is that he's actually now about 500, okay, on the ranking, on the ATP ranking. But he was in the how is it called? When you are injured, you kind of, your ranking freezes for the couple of months, so you can come back and you can enter the biggest tournament. So I don't know how it is called in English, but it's how it is. So he will face Tsitsipas. So Jiří Veselý against Tsitsipas. I believe it can be an interesting match because when Jiří Veselý is in his best, he can beat anyone. He can beat Novak. He can beat really anyone. So this will be an interesting match from the Czech point of view. Next, we have obviously under them in the next part of the draw, there is Novak Djokovic. Can he win? Yes. Is he my favorite? Is he my favorite? No. Reason for that, he is struggling on the clay. He isn't feeling his best. I think he is feeling his age, of course, and he's sometimes kind of too slow for the situations. The young players are playing better and better, faster and faster, and they are not afraid anymore of Novak because he suffered some losses in the past months. And when you see that, the young players now think, yeah, I can beat him too. If he beat him, I can beat him too. We can do it. So this is how it works. So the psychological effect is there. Everyone now thinks Novak is beatable. So it will be super tough for Novak to reach, I believe, even maybe the semifinals or quarterfinals. We will see. Next, there are a couple of other interesting names, but I will skip them. I will skip them for the next name, Rublev, Andrei Rublev. Always looking good, always passionate, super passionate about tennis. He's putting absolutely everything when he's on the court. He can beat anyone also. But is he my favorite? No, he is not. So I will turn the page for the next part of the draw, for the second part of the draw. And there comes Holger Rune, number 6, or seeded number 6. He is looking insanely good. Insanely good. I'm starting believing in this guy. So the Rune is one of my 2 biggest favorites for the win. And I'm really thinking, is this guy who's going to win the Roland Garros, or the next guy? Well, or the third guy I will be talking about. Well, we will see. But Holger Rune is among, let's say, top 3 players who can win the tournament for me. Next we have Casper Ruud, obviously. Casper Ruud is here. Yeah, correct name. Woohoo, great, Ruud. But before Ruud, there is Czech Lehečka, the second man, the second Czech. So we have only 2 Czech male players in the main draw. And Jiří Lehečka, he looked good in the last season, but in this season on clay he is a little bit off. So he's finding his rhythm, and he will face Jean-Lennart Struff from Germany. And this guy is actually playing really good. I told you about that. He's wearing the Diadora shoes, which are excellent, by the way. So you can check one of my videos about Diadora shoes. And it will be tough for Jiří. It will be a close match, I believe. But Struff is actually for me a little bit favorite in this match. But let's jump to Ruud. Casper Ruud, who suffered the big loss in the last year final of Roland Garros. He's good. He plays good, but I don't think he has the pace and the kind of aggressiveness of Rune, of the Holger Rune. The Holger Rune actually reminds me of Novak much more than, let's say, Casper Ruud. Casper Ruud is an all-round, great all-round player, but from time to time, I think there is something missing. Maybe a little bit of the arrogance. You need to have it, absolutely, if you want to be the best of the best. But I mean it in a good way, So Casper, one of the favorites, but not really on my top 3 list, let's say. And then I will scroll down because I will skip the other players like Sinner, Dimitrov, Zverev, Tiafoe, Choric, Deminor, Nishioka, until Daniil Medvedev. Daniil Medvedev, guys, is my favorite. He is my favorite for this year's Roland Garros. He is playing great, fantastic. He is the guy who can beat anyone in the draw if he is in the good mood. The problem with Medvedev are always fans, maybe conditions, and maybe, I don't know, maybe sometimes he has problem also with his coach, but I don't think it's the coach's problem. It is always a mental issue for Medvedev. But if he can maintain the quality of his tennis throughout the tournament, he can go very far and he can win the tournament. So for me, Medvedev is the, let's say, number 1 for winning this tournament. Next, I would say Holger Rune is my second favorite, and then, well, I will probably I will probably go for Tsitsipas. So these three guys are my favorite. For some reason, I'm not naming Carlos Alcaraz because I don't think he's the next Nadal, guys. I don't think so. Because, you can't replicate what Rafa did, how Rafa plays. And in this world, we live in a different world than Nadal was starting. And I think Carlos Alcaraz is sometimes too much focused on the things that are going around. All the interviews and the funny stuff and so on behind the scenes sometimes. And this is something what Rafa and Novak and Roger Federer, they were not doing too much. They were just focusing on tennis. And for some reason, I think Alcaraz is from time to time quite off with his performance. For some reason, he can get somehow stressed on the court. You can see that. But if he is in his turbo mode, he can also beat anyone. But the overall quality, I don't think he isn't quite there yet. Maybe in a couple of months, years, who knows. But for me, the Carlos Alcaraz is not the next Rafa. So guys, there you have it. Medvedev, Rune and Tsitsipas, my top three for winning the trophy. And now we will jump to the women's section. And the women's section, it's a joy to look at from the Czech point of view, because we have in the main draw 12, not 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but 12 Czech women. That's absolutely crazy. There is probably only USA who is having more female players in the main draw. I believe USA has 16 players, but Czech players, Czech women tennis is crazy good, guys. It's crazy good. So I will start with the favorite. Of course, you need to count with Iga Swiatek every single time, because she can play some crazy fast and clever tennis. But she is probably not my favorite, guys, for this year. I don't know why. It's just about my feel. And then I will point out our Czech players. So Maria Bouskova. Then we have Barbora Krejcikova. She has already a Grand Slam, Then we have Brenda Fruhvirtova. Brenda Fruhvirtova, a new prodigy from the Fruhvirts family. There are two true Fruhvirts. There are sisters. Where is she? Brenda. She is probably the future of the Czech tennis. Then there is also Noskova under Fruhvirtova. She is also very capable and the future of the Czech women tennis. Next, we have Petra Kvitova, so two-time Wimbledon champion. What can I say more? She's always favorite for the quarterfinals, semifinals, of course. Will she reach the final? I'm skeptical about that because, she is not 25 anymore, but she's number 10, seeded as number 10. So you need to count with Petra every single time, but she's not my favorite for winning the tournament. Then we have, of course, Jabeur, one of the favorites too. Then we have Maria Sakkari, one of the favorites too, but she might lose in the first round, guys, to our Karolina Muchova. Karolina Muchova, she's playing a wonderful tennis to look at. She's playing the type of, let's say, the male type of tennis. And when you put these two women together, it can be a really, really super interesting match. Now, we have Who we have there next? Kvitova, I need to turn the page. We have there next Linda Fruhvirtova, sister from Brenda. We will see how far can she go. Next we have Pegula Garcia. These are also two favorites. You can expect absolutely anything from these two great players, and it's time for French player Caroline to make some big success, I believe, and she is in a good shape, in a good age, and she can do some damage, obviously. Then we have Martincova. There is a couple of Czech players next. The tattooed girl. Then there is Kateřina Siniakova, great doubles champion. There is Markéta Vondroušová. She is also great doubles champion. Then we have Caroline Pliskova, seeded as number 16. I believe she is also capable of winning Grand Slam. I hope one day she will manage it, but something is always missing, just a tiny little bit. It looks to me like Carolina gets in some moments of the critical matches is getting a little bit kind of afraid of showing really her potential. She's trying to stay calm, sometimes too much. I believe I can see sometimes in her that it is really, she's full of energy and she wants to sometimes break the racket, but she kind of doesn't do it. And sometimes I believe she really needs to get away with the steam that is collecting inside her, and she should kind of burst it out from time to time to really become the best version of herself. But we can expect from Carolina to go quite far during the tournament, but once again, she's not my favorite. Then we have another Czech young player, Sara Bělek, qualifier, and finally Sabalenka Arina. And Arina Sabalenka is my biggest favorite for this year's tournament. So seeded number 1 as Daniil Medvedev. Yep, I think she can go really far and she can win the tournament. And it would be a beautiful match if there was a Swiatek against Sabalenka in the final. So my number 1 is Arina Sabalenka. Number 2, Iga Swiatek. And number 3, I believe, Jelena Rybakina. I forgot about Rybakina, so sorry about that. Rybakina is my number top 3. So guys, there you have it. This is my prediction. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about the tournament? What do you essentially think about Roland Garros, about playing on clay? What are the obstacles? Why some players struggle when playing on clay? Why some players benefit playing on clay? Who is your favorite? Why? And so on and so on. And let's jump into it, because it's the great time of year. It's probably my favorite tournament with the Australian Open. But I'm a clay guy. I grew up on clay, so this is my favorite Grand Slam of the year. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support, for commenting, and as always, enjoy tennis, play tennis, watch the Roland Garros every time, every day, and don't forget to enjoy the manooovrlbity. Bye guys.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line!